So, hi everyone, and welcome back. So, we'll be continuing with where we left. And definitely in the previous video, I said that that is not how we actually do the things. That is not how we implement object-oriented programming in like in practice. That is definitely oops, but that's not how we do practically, right? So, how we do it is that now let me say that there is a class called person. Okay, let's just take a different class now. You might be bored, or should we just take the same class so that you don't get any confusion? Okay, let's just say car only. Okay, now I don't initialize those things the way I did. I never do because that's quite hectic, right? For everything you have to define year, price, and color and whatever. That's not convenient way. So we have a function init underscore init underscore. So that is now basically an inbuilt function, right? So let it be that it is name. That is the first attribute. Second, I say color, and third is I say year in which I bought. Now there is also another attribute which you need to add over here is self. Now what does this self means? Now definitely we are going to define all these things for a particular object, right? Like Maruti dot something, Audi dot something, right? So this will basically represent that object because definitely Audi and Maruti, they won't be having these all as same parameters. Even if they have, let it be that they share one or two, but everyone has their own identity, right? So this parameter will help me for that particular object, right? So how we generally assign to that object? Self dot, so just treat it as object, right? So definitely, do you need to have self? You can have any other name. Definitely you can have any name, but conventionally we use self, and maximum of the coding conventions, if you see Geeks for Geeks, Stack Overflow, and in Quora, wherever, or even in books, you will see there is written self. So I've written self. No problem, you can write A also. I'll change it, show you, right? So self dot name is equals to, see, this is a parameter. Now that self dot name is equals to name. Okay, now there would be a confusion surely that what is this name? What is this? I'll clear it in some while. But as of now, just see and enjoy and run it on your PCs as well. That will be great. Oh, sorry. Color self dot year is equals to year. So basically I say that okay, the parameters are name, the attributes of the object, attributes of object, because this is object kind of, this is object, not kind of, this is object basically. A name which is referring to object. Like for example, when you do def function a comma b, and whatever values you pass, like 10 comma 20, so 10 goes to a and 20 goes to b. So this is also nothing but an object, and that is object dot name is name. Now here, what is this name? This is attribute of object. And what is this? This is these three things. Here, if rather than name here color, if I define as A, B, C, then here I should write A, B, and here I should write C, right? So that is nothing but these are the parameters, like kind of values, right? These are the actual attributes, right? But why we write it same again a convention? Nothing hard and fast, right? So this is how I defined a car. But as of now, just see car is not having any attribute. Again, I have started from the way I started in the previous video so that you can draw some parallelism, right? Now, I'll create an object Maruti equal to car, but this time I won't leave the parenthesis closed, like nothing, right? I'll be writing some things, right? So definitely if I say that this is an object, so the name of the object is Maruti, it should write Maruti. Then name Maruti 800, say. Color, let it be silver. And the year in which I bought, let it be 2018, right? Now one thing, you need not to pass this. You know why? Because that is the beauty of Python, that they know that quite possibly you may miss that name. And obviously, if you're creating it in Maruti, here it should be Maruti, right? So what they have said is, they have said, okay, you don't worry, you don't write Maruti over here. We'll take care of it. You don't write over here. We'll send Maruti over here, the object name, we'll send it over here, right? So you see, there is no error. Rather, now if you write, then there will be an error, right? Because they have already simplified the things, and why are you making it more complicated? See, it says it takes 4 positional arguments, that 4 are needed. It is saying that okay, 4 are needed. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it says 5 are given. Why? Because this is already given inside, right? Right? I hope you get it. Now these are all given. Now I can print anything. I can write print Maruti, sorry, typo, Maruti dot name. Okay. Along with that, let me print Maruti dot color. It's there. Okay, let me print a full statement, right? Like here I write Maruti. No, okay. I have, I bought, I bought here a kind of a placeholder, right? I bought Maruti 800 of silver color in year, so person D. So now I'll be writing all of this. Maruti dot name, comma, of color, right? So Maruti dot color, comma, I'll write Maruti dot name, color, and then is year. Let's try and print. I bought Maruti 800 of silver color in 2018. Beautiful. Like, oops is actually beautiful. Like, do you see how the things just happen very easily? Right? Now, okay, now there is one thing. Init is a built-in method. And whatever built-in methods are there, definitely you know they are already written. But when I'm doing this thing basically means that I am overwriting that method. So here you are overwriting the method. Okay. Now initially what we did was that we defined the year as 1998, right? Why we did it? Okay, just comment it as of now. Let me try to print car dot price. Definitely it will show me an error the way it did in previous time. Now if we do it, oh sorry, not sorry. Okay, let me comment it and show you again. Sorry, my typo. Error. Now it's not an error, right? But now there is one restriction you need to see. If I write over here car and do everything same, but I don't define year, same, right? We are expecting that it should give me 1998, but it will be an error, right? It says that missing one required positional argument C. Okay, now here if you see the error, right, it says C. Now why we, do you now see that why we keep all of these names same? So that when I get an error also it should say missing one required positional argument here. That is the reason why we keep all of this same, right? So there's logic for everything. Cool. Now why is it so that it is not showing 1998? Because this is an attribute of class, correct? Definitely. If it's an attribute of class, it should be attribute of Maruti even. That is what we expected. But when you create object like this, right, then it just goes directly to the init method. And init method has to satisfy the number of arguments which are there, right? It has to satisfy. So people will say, okay, let's not do it. Rather it will again be an error, right? So you need to supply everything, right? You need to supply all of these things. Now you can't be like, oh, you have to give the year, right? Okay, see, it's all cool, right? I executed it and it's all cool, right? You need to do it. But now you'll be like, no, I don't want to do this. Okay, now before that, let me clear your confusion. You can have anything, but the thing is, if you have XYZ over here, have XYZ over here as well, right? XYZ, and here again I'll be having XYZ. See, no error, right? So you can have self, you can write anything. Now the question is that I'm like, no, I don't want this, I want this thing. Then what should we do? Then one thing what we can do is, now init, what will init do? Init will take the arguments in this manner, right? I can define my own function, func, and this function should do. Now this will give me an error because it says no argument because init is not there, right? So init is this kind of constructor. So what is constructor? Those who are coming from C++ and all background, they know what is a constructor. Those who have Python background don't think about constructor as of now. We don't need it. So okay, now what I need to do is, if this is how I do, I should write Maruti dot, I should call function, right? So with the function now I can pass those parameters like Maruti 800, comma, you write the color as silver, and let me do here this, right, whatever it is. So now I can do print Maruti dot, anything you can do color, it's there, right? Okay, now again the problem is that what if I don't define this? No, you have to, right? You have to define this thing because this is for sure you have to define, because if you're calling a function, you should have the signature, right? So where will this help? This doesn't help, right? Maximum of times it doesn't help. It just helps if you need to define certain basic things, right? Like you need to have a color, like, but generally this doesn't happen, so we don't write this, right? So due to which maximum of the people are not even clear about what this is. What is this XYZ or the self which I wrote, right? They say that okay, it points to the class. No, it doesn't point to the class, it points to the object, because had it pointed to the class, then definitely we wouldn't have got any error for car dot here, right? So it just is there for the object. So here also you can define multiple objects if you want, and right. So as of now I would say that practice, because practice is only thing which we require in this, right? And from here you made one conclusion that, okay, one more thing. Let me define a different attribute for car. Color. Not color. Let it the attribute be A, B, C, D. And that is 45. Right? So let me just do car dot ABCD. So definitely it will give me 45. Now if I do Maruti dot ABCD, see, it will show me 45. This shows that whatever are the attributes of car, they're also the attributes of its objects, right? But in the function, when you say that okay, let me provide some less arguments like we wrote over here, that is not, possible, right? Why? Because the function will has to complete its signature. So one thing you can conclude from here is that objects and the classes both will have their own attributes, both will have their own functions, right? Second thing you notice is that instead of self, you can write any name, right? Self is just a conventional name over here. And what is init or anything? These are nothing but they are the constructor. This is init is a constructor, and since it is built-in, and for any built-in function, you have double underscore in the beginning and double underscore in the end. And also, this is it is not compulsory that you should have an init, right? Okay, now one more thing, let me just include that in this lecture. I think we have time. Okay, let's just do it in next lecture. Till then, have a good time. Thank you so much.